What is up, good people? How we doing? Doing a little pre-recorded live action. And yeah, I got a couple things to talk about. I've been reading up on some the gossip type stuff, right? And it just got me thinking. And you can't really get this shit nowhere, right? This fake gossip on a YouTube video, anyway. On the group, in the groups, it's rampant. But there's a lot. I mean, I don't even partake in the groups that much anymore. But when I do, there's always something juicy there. You know what I mean? There's always something to talk about. So let's start on a positive note, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is Delro. Delro, the group for Delro, JG's brainchild company, is Delro Electronics LLC. I'm pretty sure. I know it's Delro Electronics, which is a great name because electronics, I mean, that's really what it is. You see so many of these groups, and they're like, the name is like something labs, like laboratory. I get that if you like make juice and like strictly juice, it's like chemistry lab something. But there's like all these brands that say lab or corporation, corp. I don't know. The idea of just putting electronics in your title, one, it makes sense because it doesn't necessarily use any vaping vernacular, and it's, I don't know, it's catchy. It makes sense too. Overall, these are electronics. They're artsy tech gadgets for harm reduction of cigarettes. Anyhow, so in the Delro group, they had I'm pretty sure there were 10 of them. 10 resin Delros D60s. I think they were all E's, so Evolve DNA 60s. Prior to that, they had Delro D60c's released. They weren't anything crazy, like in terms of the materials. God, I don't even know if they were. I think they were all like black Delrin, or they might have even been 3D printed. Some of them were die codes though too, but yes, he did have some. That must be the first release of the D60c public. There's been other modders that have showed it, like in the Ion and some of the BMM mods. Charles has been showing it off. But I don't think anything public has gone out with the D60c chip until that. So that was interesting. Like the 100C, there was like a big quest for someone to release the first DNA 100C product, and it's basically a DNA 75C, but that goes to 100 watts with a USB Type-C port. I think it has like a better charge rate, but you wouldn't be charging your batteries in the mod anyway, right? So where the fuck is it? Oh, here it is. So, I kind of forget what the other. Oh, this is a fitting song. I kind of forget what the other mod in the race was. Damn. But anyhow, this was it. This is the one that won. Mike Vapes' creation, the Boxer Classic 100C or whatever the hell he called it. Boxer Classic. Yeah. Oh, I remember. The other one was Lost Vape. I can't remember the name of the mod, though. It was like, because they changed it a bunch of times. Hyperion, I think they wanted to call it initially. At first they called it like some oddly like sexual sounding name. It was like fucking the Scum Cum or some shit. It wasn't actually called that, but that's what it sounded like. And people were kind of thrown off by it. Then they changed the name to Hyperion, even though that was already the name of a mech mod. But they stuck with that, and it sold. Boxer, that's the custom screen I have. It's that old school, like, not Fight Irish, but like the guy with the mustache, the boxer. Look at that boxing position. That's how they used to fight. And it says Born to Lose, I think. You can't really see it through this. Maybe a little better on here. And not with this camera. Anyhow. Yeah, so JG, the first DNA60C, congratulations. Because I feel like, not like it was a race, but I feel like there was probably some underlying, like, people wanting to get it out first. He's just very on point these days, JG. He's very good at what he does. He was dormant for a while, too. I think whatever he did, I just think he played it smart. Like, during the real hype, you know, he had already started with the first Boro mod that wasn't the billet box. I mean, there's no other Boro mod that was like well received, high end, and yeah, I mean, he got permission from billet box to even do it. Yeah, so like from there, he was pretty dormant for a while. Then when he announced, and you know, and there's the 75C or whatever. But when he wanted to bring out that Delro D60c, people really weren't feeling it at all. A lot of the comments were like, nice pulse, it looks like a pulse. Or like, why would I buy that? It looks just like a billet box. And like, mind you, by the time he finally came out with the idea, it was already so... the market was already so saturated, nobody gave a shit. And then when he actually came out with it, first he came out with those prototypes, right? Loyalists jumped on it, obviously. And it was very well received from those initial impressions. Now everything is, you know what I mean? Like, people want to jump on the bandwagon for everything anyway, or they used to. So even then, it's still hard to decipher what was it really worth a damn or not. But Delro has such a good reputation that and when you actually were able to break it down and see the internals and stuff, you couldn't deny that he put a lot of time into it, and you know, he didn't take no shortcuts. It was well designed. Really, the only significant detail of it was that it had, you know, it was like basically a die-codes billet box that had a C-frame. Interchangeable C-frame, you could have a different frame. There's still only two materials for it. Delrin, a black Delrin and a white Delrin. So, yeah, it didn't have that much different about it. So, there's one other company that comes to mind when I think about, like, dressing the mod up as high-end as you can, inside and out, internals and all. And C-Bot, the Critival C-Bot, is pretty good that way. You know, it's very easy to take apart. He didn't, you know, even as you're stripping it down, you still see branding and, like, Everything's placed well. The fucking took pride in the wiring. Actually does it himself, kind of shit. That is admirable to these high-end people, you know, buying this shit. Now, speaking of the guy that you know, the modder of Critival, what's his name? Christoph, I think. He's from Poland. When I talk about these groups, right, I've been hitting this one a lot. Now, this group is always big for clones, in a way. Damn, I have to, like, jump out of this conversation. I was about to leave this comment, but I have to leave it and come back because I'm doing this video. Okay, yeah, Bora and Bridges. That is good if you want the juicy gossip. It used to be Bullen, Billet and Bullen, 2.0, 3.0. But when they got shut down for 2.0 to 3.0, they didn't get quite the same amount of members back in that group. So it isn't the same. That was one of the few popular groups that allowed clones and clone talk. Now it's this one, this Burrow and Bridges. I mean, people aren't afraid to speak their mind on it. And one of the comments, you know, and I lost the post. I tried to go back and find it anyway. I'm jumping all over the place because I still want to finish talking about Delro. Yeah, one of the questions was something to do with monarchy, and basically in the comments, you had that guy Christoph saying, like, they said something about, like, is monarchy stuff, where's it made, or are we sure where is it made exactly? And his response was, you had other random people saying, oh, it's made in China, I don't think it's really made in Poland, blah, blah, blah. And then his response was even China, and then he did, like, the emoji for, like, covering your mouth and then laughing. Now, you could take that two ways. You could take that as China? What? You think that's made in China? Oh my god, ha ha ha. Or you could take it as him spilling the beans saying, it's China. Oops, I didn't mean to say that. Oop, did I just say that? Ha ha ha. You could take it one of two ways. However, he didn't answer it like China with a question mark, like, are you crazy? You think China? He did it with a period, like a declarative statement saying China, answering, followed by those emojis. And it doesn't take much to understand, like, okay, monarchy supposedly gets all their stuff made through Hussar, right? All three of these companies are Poland, by the way, or, you know, originate in Poland. Christoph is Critival. Monarchy is Jacek, and Matthias is Hussar, right? Now, Monarchy is so good with marketing and just coming up with the new thing and just stylizing it or whatever. So he takes his designs, gives them to Hussar. Hussar makes them, yada yada. That's how it at least started. I think Hussar's manufacturing, their machining, I don't think they have the time, or it's just not profitable to them to make the vape gear, I think. So they go through, you know, I think, and Monarchy, I think, got too big for itself, that they can't keep up with the demand and go through Hussar. I really think they do go through China. I mean, they had that that one clone up on 3F8 was, it had like CW on it, right? That stood for Christian Westerman. That's one guy from Germany, or he's from the UK and lives in Germany, or something like that. I'm pretty sure he's in Germany. He has like one of the biggest collections of vape gear, Boramon's high end, that you'll ever see in your entire life. And he has the money to go to Monarchy and say, I want a custom RDA. So they make that for him, but he's the only one that has it. But yet there's clones of it. 3F8 came out with clones of a one of one for one guy who probably paid a lot of money for it, but yet like now there's clones of it that you can get for $20. You have to look at all these little things to really try to, and I almost have fun with it. It's like a fucking Nancy Drew mystery for me, trying to figure out which companies are full of shit and which companies are the real thing. It's hard to tell sometimes, and it's like I go back and forth between not wanting to believe it and then like it's hard to be objective about it because I've already I've put out a lot of money on authentic gear. I have also a lot of clone gear too. So I'm right in the middle of like, do I want to believe this, or can I be objective about it? Or now I'm almost bitter because I did spend all this money, so now I'm really looking for it. I'm all over the place on like what's really going on here. And I really think a lot of these companies, I mean, this was my other comment. So, like, you have somebody like, I said I was going to stay on the good stuff first. So let me revert back. Delro. As of yesterday, they came out with 10 Rezos. This kind of material. Technically, I mean, it's different. This is a hard resin. I don't know. I never had a real Delro Rezo. I don't think it's like this. I think it's thinner. And I'm guessing the texture is different. I don't know. The colors, I mean, so it's through JG and Ryan Bell. Ryan Bell is the guy that actually does all the resin bodies for him. Makes beautiful designs, crazy multicolored swirls and all that. You have your standard solid color glow row type Rezos, and then you have those multicolored ones, and that's what they originally were. Those are the most beautiful ones, I think. I mean, if I had a Rezo, I would only want that. I mean, not to be like a snob, and I'm like, I don't want that glow row, but I'm not going to pay $1,000 for one. Well, with the way this vaping shit has the turn it's taken, the lack of interest, or the people just still interested, just aren't willing to fork out the money. Those Rezos, mind you, for years, since their inception, have been worth at least $1,000 or more. Well, now, they generally didn't sell. You didn't really see them too often in the groups being sold like they had been yesterday. It was a quick strike, 10 separate posts, quick strikes. Usually a quick strike means as soon as they list it, you put X1, enter, in the comment section of the post in Facebook. And if you're the first person to put X1, you win. Sometimes they change it and they make it the last person to put X1 or the 10th. You know what I mean? They pick a number type thing. So you usually got to be real quick with those. BMM does it too. Most of these companies have done quick strikes in some way, shape, or form. The other way to do it is a randomizer. You leave this post open, the Google Doc open for so long, and after a couple hours or 20 minutes or whatever, they close it and then do a rando through random.org or whatever the fuck it is, and do it that way. This was weird. There was a couple of the X1s or sometimes they choose random numbers, the first to put X25 or something like that. They also had you, like, the first person to Photoshop a picture of a unicorn giving a blowjob or something weird like that. Like, those were, like, real things. Now, if you're not, like, tech savvy, like, you're fucked. So I thought that was kind of unfair, to make it that way. I mean, it's funny, it's interesting, but, like, it's a little one-sided. I mean, most of the people that are good with these X1 quick strikes are these real tech-savvy people anyway, that probably have, like, some fucking weirdo, super fast, high-speed internet, and probably have, like, bots doing it for them and shit. Like, I'm sure these people know some kind of loop to this shit. I mean, it's always the same people that are always really quick about stuff like that. So that's how they did that. But the whole point of this was to tell you about the pricing. The price of it was $625 for a brand new Rezo. That is cheap. I mean, from what I know, they backdoor a lot of Rezos. That's how they've sold them. Kind of like how Protocol was at their hype. Backdoor sales. MMM's backdoor sales. You know, there was always some kind of loophole they used to maximize their profit, and some people will say that's not sportsmanlike or something for them to sell it that way. Everyone should have a fair shot, not the highest bidder. I'm not gonna, again, if I'm not gonna be passing judgment on them if they're, you know what I mean? Like, however you want to do it. It's not fair to me, but, like, to be objective about it, I can't say, like, if it's fair or not. It's just what they fucking did. So that's what they did. But this was cool because it actually was relatively fair. It had the quick strike. The price was a normal number for their stuff. So, yeah. The week before that, they had the D650s for a similar price. The frosted D650s were $525, and the peak D650s were $625. And I think they had 25 each of each material. Great, you know what I mean? Trust me, I wanted to fill it out. I just did not have the money. I would love a peak D650. So, and I would love a Rezo, but again, it's just a really fucking slow, this is the least amount of money I've been able to make in years, probably. So, just a lot of bad shit going on, and, I'm just in a real rut. So, you know, not only have I slowed down significantly on buying vape gear, but right now it's just a really bad time for buying vape gear for me. And I think a lot of people too. So rewind back to what I was talking about with the companies and who's making the clones and who isn't, and yada, yada, yada. You'll notice it's always the same companies. It's always Hussar, Monarchy, Mission XV, Wick'd. Now, Mission and Wick'd and Monarchy, I mean, yes, they are the most popular companies. So China is going to clone what's popular to, you know, appeal to more people as possible. But they also make plenty of clone protocol stuff. Not as popular if you're not in high-end. But Hussar makes that too. Makes protocol stuff. So basically anything Hussar touches will get cloned. But Hussar has such a reach. So now you're encompassing so many companies that now are in this potential clone racket that it's just so hard to decipher. That's why I think there is such an appeal with companies like BMM, Unknown, Delro, Now, all those have been cloned too now at this point, but it took a lot longer to clone any of those. Unknown was a little quick compared to the other two. The Delro had been out for years before it got cloned. BMM had been out for years before it got cloned. There's never been a BMM cloned Squonk. Unknown, it still took a good while. It still took a good while for the OG Unknown to get cloned. The Midge got cloned really quick. And then once they start cloning the drip tips, then it starts looking like E. But, yeah. I mean, Control, there's no good Control. You're not getting Control clone stuff to the quality. I don't think so. I mean, I guess I've never really had the clone. What clone Control stuff have I had the drip tip. I don't know, the pen. See, I wish I had. I don't think they have any clone Control. See, they don't really have a lot of clone Control stuff to the T. Like, they'll have some like shit that's. A lot of people have jumped on that now and tried to make similar shit. You have direct clones, and then you have like pseudo clones. Like, and when you look at it like that, you got some serious cloning going on in this business right now. When that KBR came out for $300 and sold for $1,400, you damn right everybody started making exposed battery 3D printed mods. Every fucking company, because it's cheap to make, and they wanted to jump on the bandwagon of what was appealing to people at that time, even though it was the ugliest fucking thing in the world compared to a lot of the other stuff, you know. Yeah, it's just the Delro D60c has 1 million clones right now. I mean, there's so many mods that look exactly like that now, and it happened like overnight. I mean, and a lot of them are actually made by China. These pseudo D650 looking mods, the Raga, the Sand. God, there's so fucking many of them, and I don't really know a lot of their names at this point. What's the damn vape one? That kind of looks like it. Trust me, there's a lot of these fucking mods that look just like they're heavily inspired by. So, speaking of taken stuff, right? So I said it the other day, and I still get these goddamn comments are so annoying. That at everyone shit. Wick's got RJ's got to stop with that shit, man. I could take a few, but it's like everything he does, I'm getting an at everyone comment or tag. This is the Exo Bora, right? I started thinking about that again. How, like, I thought maybe it was like a hat tip, but like didn't. I was like, either like I'm missing something, it was a hat tip. Then I started thinking about it more, and I'm like, maybe it was a jab, because I did do a clone video on a Wick'd RBA, despite mentioning how many authentic Wick'd products I have. So maybe it was a jab at me, actually. You know, how do you feel when someone steals something of yours using my EXO name or whatever? Could have been like that. I don't know. I don't know how to take it. But, though I care, no, not really. If that was like a subtle jab or nod, I don't know. Even if it was, it's whatever. I don't sell anything, so I don't really care. If anything, it'll make people think that I had something to do with it, which is cool. So, again, he didn't like come right out and say what it was about, so this is all just my speculation, as is most of this stuff. These are just my opinions. I have no hard evidence of a lot of the shit that I talk about on here, just to put that out there. You know, if I suggest that a company's, you know, lying and they're made in China, most of the time I don't have any hard proof of that. But a lot of the times the writing is on the wall. You don't need any hard proof of it. And for someone to get berated for buying clones, you know, are you also berating people, the companies that are lying to us and telling us that they're made in Europe or America and they're not? Because if you're going to fucking try to beat up on the customer who's, you know, trying to juggle like all their finances and whether they could buy a $200 thing or a $30 thing, you know, you should be thinking about, you know, these companies, and if they're criminals lying to us about, you know, where something is made and trying to just maximize their profit. I understand that China is only going to give them so much money probably for their designs to clone, or the CAD files to clone, or the real thing to clone. You know, a lot of them maybe have some access to a machine shop. They come up with the prototype, they give it to China to mass produce. Or they come up with the CAD file, give it to China to mass produce. I get that they need, you know, they make these authentics to try to come up with some profits, so get some of that money back for all the time they took to make the thing and design it and get it, you know, tangible to then be mass produced. So I get why they charge all that extra money and stuff, but like, how can you expect everyone to pay for it in that situation? Not only that, but lie to us and say that they're all made that way. I don't know. If you give your own design to China to clone, you should tell us. Or if China really makes your shit, then you shouldn't be hiding it. I mean, that's the real fucked up part. Not, you know, not that you did it, but like that you lied about it. You know, that's why at least I'm upfront about all of this shit. Like, I use these clones, and for a while there, I just like I'd be doing my vlogs and using clone gear and like brush it off or joke about it in passing and just keep it moving, but like I'm ashamed about it or something. It's like I shouldn't have to think like that. Like, these other people are doing much more shameful stuff. I've given money, vast sums of money, clout. I gave them like a little over $400 to make me a Bora mod that was supposed to be made in the UK, and I got to customize all the materials and colors and stuff. Well, a lot of the people that did that, they did that with like 4 different batches of products, and they came through on maybe like 10% out of 4 different big ass group buys for different products. Okay, I fortunately even got a product, but it was nothing like what I actually ordered. So in a way, I got scammed for $400, because if it was the same materials and colors that they gave me, if I knew that's what I would be getting, I wouldn't have bought it to begin with. So yeah, I got fucking rope-a-doped into spending $400 for a high-end company, all this fucking prestige bullshit that really were fucking con artists that ripped me off. So if I'm a criminal for spending $30, yeah, so anyhow, yeah, that's why I'm salty about that. I mean, if all these companies were on the up and up and had these pristine morals, you know what I mean, like that's toted, I'd still probably do the same thing, but at least I wouldn't, I don't know. I just, you know, throwing stones in glass houses is what I see all this as. You know, the people that want to judge the most about buying clone stuff, like, they don't say a word to these companies about what they're really doing. Like, hey, is this really, if I had a clone, if I had a clone company, if I had an authentic, made in the US, made in Europe company high-end company, I would have hard proof of every fucking step of the way of all my production. Or say it's like, well, we don't want to show too much because it's our secret. Give me a time lapse then in the factory of all these things being made, and then I'll be okay with it. You know, don't just show me like one little fucking thing. Or somebody did that, like faked their production. I don't know if it was Purge or somebody faked their production. I can't remember which company it was. It was definitely a mech mod company. Maybe it was Armageddon. And, you know, I've seen some, like, shop footage of ESG, right? But it wasn't a lot. And, or maybe, well, you know, Jim BV had that video. I don't know. You will always see the same companies getting cloned, and cloned fast. Whether the product's hyped or not, they get every product. Wick'd, or Mission came out with this drip tip the other day. They used to make all their drip tips in Canada, and their Mission switches, right? I think there was only like 200 of these per material or whatever. Well, they came out with this new drip tip, a long drip tip. It's already got a clone out. It was like they just came out with it. So it's, you know, the Astro, we don't need to go there, but, you know, Golden Greek, I mean, Imio has been making tons of tons of posts in all these different groups, toting, you know, saying how great his RBA is the best RBA and all this stuff, and was only showing like 3D renderings of it for some reason. And this was only like 5 days ago, but like some other people already have the product and have done videos on it. So it's like, how doesn't the modder have a tangible product to show people? Why is he showing us CAD file, or not CAD files, but renderings instead of the real thing? Does he just like not use it, or does he not even have one? Or it's like, or he's not good at taking pictures? I don't get it. Like, why would you revert back to that when there's videos of the authentic that has those symbols on it? There's like the recycle thing and the CE thing. Nobody puts that on their products in high end unless it's made in China. Like, only Chinese products have that. You're not going to find any of these mods with that symbol on it, or even RTAs. You're not going to find any of that. So that's like a European rule or some shit. None of the other European companies do that, so why are you? It looks stupid, for one. It's right on the side of the RBA. It's not even like, it's not a tank that you can put on the bottom. It's right on the side. So it's like, if I get a scratch on one side and I feel like I don't want that to be shown, I have to turn it over. Oops, now I got a big trash can recycling symbol. Like, did you really want to do it like that? And I don't know. He's foreign, so that's, who knows, but it doesn't add up to me. They hit all his products, whether they're popular or not. They hit all the they hit everything, really. Finding clone RBAs used to be pretty hard, but in the last year or so, now they get everybody. I mean, I don't think they ever came out with the clone Ovis RAM by RAM Mods. I don't know if they ever did that one. And that one, I thought was, first I thought it was completely made in Spain. Then I wasn't sure. I thought it was made in China. You know, I go back and forth with this stuff all the time. Kill It Customs. I thought they were throwing through Malaysia or whatever, but again, like any kind of Asian country, I'm always skeptical of to begin with, whether it's made in China or not. But now he collaborates with Ambition Mods, which is definitely China. His Kill It is definitely made in China. And as soon as that started to come up, that's when you started getting clones of all this shit. the OG Killab and the Killab R. Every company is going this route where they're not even trying to hide it anymore. And it's like, as things have gotten more expensive, I think a lot of these companies, they just can't hack even trying it in-house anymore. They're just going by doing it through China. They're not telling anybody of any changes, and they're still charging the same amount or thereabout. Now everybody's lowering their prices, but what about all those years before? And you're expecting customers to be loyal to you still after you trick them and do all that. So and I've made multiple videos talking about this kind of stuff. Nobody's ever come to me and said otherwise. You know what's a clone product that an authentic product you've never seen on the El Cigart. You never see an El Cigart clone of anything because this stuff is obviously not made in China. I've seen plenty of factory footage, and yeah, I mean the materials that he uses, it just can't be cloned. It'd be too expensive. U-mods, it'd be too expensive. So you're not going to see any clones of their stuff. Now that tank was cloned. That uni tank. There wasn't much to it though. I mean, that really could have just been cloned. So I don't know. But that uni tank was supposed to be made by VWM, and VWM always has their stuff cloned instantly. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there. When a lot of these Greek companies have their stuff cloned right away, it makes you wonder. But El Cigart, Greek company, no clones. So, Bastia, Spain, the block, right? I was so sure that was cloned. He's out of business now, I'm pretty sure. There is no more Bastia. I remember he was like selling like literally like his personal stuff through the group. Needed stuffs. God, I remember just the other year they had the Astro party or whatever. They're gone. Greg closed the website down. So Vape Haven needed stuff, and Lock Haven, PA or whatever, that's done. Pretty much everybody's, just tanked. You just have those select few, like American and European companies that have a crazy loyal following, and they'll be the only ones. But what's the fun in that if everybody's after the same thing and everybody's showing off the same thing? The variety of it was what appealed to me. I don't want to be fighting over a BMM unknown setup to get a hand check that there's already 1,000 hand checks of, and it's just like, what are we doing at this point? And then the other cool companies like Addy Smith, Hellfire, I mean, a lot of times they, these companies will just do one of something and then that's it. Like, you don't really see too much Hellfire stuff cloned. I mean, you have, but they never attempted this one. They did the Cobra. That's a mechanical skunk mod. It was very simple. I mean, SVA. Tons of SVA clones. Everything SVA ever made has been cloned. They cloned both of their AIO Boro mods. How's that? I mean, there's so many Boro mods to clone. you did both of theirs. It's just, all this stuff is too suspicious for me. I used to just blindly just believe it all, and now I just don't want to anymore. I can't look away, especially when people that are have pretty good, reputations, that are way more involved than I am. When they start telling me stuff, that's when it's like, okay. I don't want to say his name. There's a guy, an American guy. I don't think he's actually American, but he lives in America, or he's descended from somewhere else. Anyway, he's a vendor, has an American site, sells all this kind of stuff, and he has even outwardly just said, like he jokes about it, like that's not made in, Poland, or that's not made in Spain, or that's not made in, you know what I mean? So with someone like that who has a business to protect, why, he wouldn't want to be spilling the beans to discourage people from buying these authentic, expensive, high-end products, but he did tell me. So he has no reason to lie about it, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's my rant on all of this. It's just seeing a couple of these posts really got me thinking about it. And I said I would stick to my word about, I didn't say like a promise or nothing, but that I wanted to try to be a little more reverent of those companies that actually are doing the right things and are made in-house where they say they are. But as much as I'd like to, my finances have prevented me from that even. But some of it I'll just do for the fun of it. Like if I get an authentic and a clone of something to compare them for people, that's one thing. I don't know. Like BMM is a company that I don't even, morals aside, I just don't even want a clone of, because it won't be as good, and you won't get the service. And part of being in that group and getting all that information directly from Charles, that's part of the appeal. And China just couldn't make it like this, or they wouldn't want to bother. So, yeah, I was gonna break this open again and change the pin and stuff on it. I did notice a couple differences that make me think that this isn't the real one. The tin on the authentic one, I believe the border of it, because Ryan has a thumbnail of it, right? And the border of it is stainless looking. It's not all black through. And his has a cut. It just looks like a black nothingness here, but this is foam right here. His actually has a rectangular or squarish cutout where the atomizer sat. So, they could have just like not taken the time on these ones, or, as they make more and more of them, just like leave a step out. But I don't know. I'm back to thinking that this is technically different than the real thing. I don't know. But not very different. The blueprints are the same, right? I'm pretty sure I don't really follow this group that much. I'm pretty sure I'm in it, but I don't I've never done much with it. There's just too many groups to keep tabs of them all. So pretty sure the modder from this group commented in my video for this, basically saying like, you should change the name and take it down and all this shit. And your opinion would be valid if it was the authentic or something like that. I don't know. And I'm just like, thanks for watching. I don't know if someone told him that I made the video or if he actually followed the channel prior, but you know, I'm not taking the video down. And the review isn't for your product, it's for this product, which basically is your product, but that's neither here nor there. People aren't really, if people want to see a review on this, they're going to see an authentic review on it. If people want to see a review on this clone, because again, we can never be sure because nobody wants to be honest, so we don't know what's really what. You know, if there wasn't liars, then we wouldn't have to question these things, but there are, so now it fucks it for everybody. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the video, I'm keeping it there. There's nothing to change the title to, guy, because that's the name of it. I can't make it a different name. I can't call it, you know, the Hussar and Nutsu or whatever the hell. It's such a bad Nutsu. NTSU. Yeah, I can't call it anything else but what you called it, because that's what it's a clone of. I don't know what you want me to do. And it was an unbranded clone. If it was by Ulton or SXK or YFTK or Copper Vape or 5A or Vape BZ or Time Bright or Steam Tribe, I would name it that, but it's not. It's unbranded. So it's unbranded. Yeah. I was going to wick these up on camera, or one of them, but I'm getting kind of like, I've just been talking. I'm getting a little, yeah, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. But here's the M Addy, and I think this is like the Royal or something. They look so similar, and they're both dual coil high end. This thing, I mean, I swear, I think at one point they were worth like $2,000. This is like a $10 clone of it that I got 4 years ago. So, by MEB Mods, some of the most revered companies with the best stuff don't even exist anymore. You know, it's funny how like the value, like the meaning we assign to things, I mean, over time just disintegrates, and we put so much into it that, like, really, what does it amount to in the end? And that's how I feel about a lot of this stuff, because it was all so very important to me not so long ago. Recently, I've been getting really into this kind of shit. These are boots. These are Nix boots. These are made in America. All leather. The entire construction of this entire boot, except for the bottom Vibram sole, is leather. And it's heavy because it's got, like, it's been made by hand. It's all nails. These were like $650 brand new. I bought them used, but still basically new for a much cheaper price. But yeah, Nix, made in Washington State, America. Here's another company, Westco, for West Coast boots. This company's been around for over 100 years. It's all leather. It's all made in America. The wait times can be up to a year to get one of these new. I bought it used. This is kind of where my interests are going. I've always been a multifaceted person that way, like interested in a bunch of different things. Or like I'll be all about something for a while and then switch gears. I'm not, you know, dropping the vape stuff altogether, but my interests have migrated a little bit. And it's something that's made in America, and I know it's made in America. There's not one doubt in my mind. that it is, and I can get behind that, and it has like a heritage to it, and it's very interesting. And until you have a pair of boots like that are like made of that quality, you don't really see it. Like when you actually have it in hand, knowing it was all handmade. And that all started with this Doc Martin, right? This is why I even got into this sort of thing, because I just always wanted a pair of these for some reason. And I always thought that they were made in the UK. Well, in the mid-2000s, they shipped 90% of their manufacturing of these to Vietnam and or China. So, again, that's more selling out and outsourcing and not telling anybody about it. I mean, it doesn't say made in China on it. It just doesn't say made in England anymore. If you get the ones that are made in England, it will say made in England on it. But they're like twice the price, and yeah, but these are still not cheap. Even though this is probably really cheap to make, this is still like $170 boot. But it's made like a shoe. It hardly has any leather in it. So I learned about this first to realize, wow, even what I think is high-end in other areas like footwear is an illusion as well, is what I'm trying to get at. So like, whereas brands like White's, Nick's, Westco, JK Boots, Frank's Boots, Drew's Boots, not Drew's Boots so much, but those brands are actually made in America with all American materials, Horween leather, made in Chicago, Seidel leather, made in Wisconsin for the tanneries. Red Wings are American. Thorogood. So like, yeah, I mean, it's not just the high-end vaping. It happens in all other areas. The company that used to make this is called Solevair. That's the original manufacturer of the original Doc Martin. Still makes boots in England under the name Solevair. And they're only like $30 or $40 more than these Chinese made ones. And then on top of that, there's still the made in England Doc Martens, which is right, the factories are right next to each other, Solevair and Doc Martin. But they're like twice as much now that they're not made by Solevair. Even though Solevair is considered the better boot still, it just doesn't have the stitching and the name. So the branding and the clout carries a lot of it, you know what I mean? And, you know, do I want to talk about boots a little bit? Yeah, but it's also serving as a great analogy for all this and how it relates to other facets of life, right? So, okay, we are basically at the hour mark, and I think I got a lot across here. So I'm going to use this until I get a good squonk mod again. This is going to be my squonk mod for right now. E-Leaf Pico Squeeze 2. E-Leaf made good stuff. So did Aspire. Well, Aspire still does, but I think E-Leaf is done. Aside from being a little heavy, this is like a great squonk mod. I wish there were more mods being made exactly like this. I mean, this is small. That's my Moab. It's smaller than my Moab. Way smaller than a billet box. It's just heavy and kind of wide. But I mean, compared to most Bora mods, you know what I mean? It's not that wide. It's just compared to most regulated mods, it seems wide. Anyhow. Yeah, I mean, I like using this more than this actual quasi high-end mod, the Squeevo. I don't know what it is. If this just had like a DNA in it and was made of a slightly, like made a Delro in it, it'd be perfect. This is a 21700, mind you. So pretty impressive. And it was made, God knows, 2017 or 18 probably. Pretty cool. All right, that'll do it. Seen a Jenna RTA for sale. I think it was for like $500 or $400. All complete, had all the bells and whistles. It was up for like days. I don't know if it ever sold. Hardly any comments. Yeah, so next time, you know, you hear people saying, oh, these are worth $3,000 or something like that, it's bullshit. Nothing's worth anything these days. So whether, you know, it actually is rare and sought out or not, it's just, you know, you can't get that money. I mean, if Delro wanted to price gouge for those Rezos, I guess they could a little bit, but they can't get the numbers that they were getting, or at least not from as many people. And so why should they? You know what I mean? They did the more admirable thing and actually priced it more accurately, and yeah, you know, I respect that. So, Midges from Unknown, they just had titanium ones finally. That's been something that's been people have been looking for a while now, so they just did that. And they didn't sell nearly as fast as the original ones because people just lost taste for this shit or just don't have the money. I think it's a little bit of both. So, all right. Yeah. Hopefully, we need something new. I mean, some kind of revival because things ain't looking so hot. So, hopefully, there'll be something that comes along that can rejuvenate this industry because Australia has completely killed their vaping. Sam, vaping Bogan, is actually moving out of the country. He's leaving Australia just so he can keep vaping, keep his channel, keep his livelihood, his job, his work. Has to move his whole family and everything. I mean, I've never been to his house, but it looks quite cozy where he's at. It's all, you know what I mean? I'm sure he's pretty settled in. His kid probably goes to school at this point. I mean, he has to leave some of his family behind just to keep going with the industry. And I think he made the right move. I think that was good, especially because he's going to the UK, which is perfect for vaping. So good for him that he actually, you know, he didn't take it as a loss. He's learning to maneuver around this situation, and it's a shame it had to come to that, you know. Can't believe Australia is just that, like, communistic, like, you know, I bet you Australians wish you never got your freedom from England at this point. Oh, I just can't believe it's like that there. That's sad. And I watch like Sky News sometimes, which is very conservative. I think they're owned by Fox. They paint Australians to think like much more like Republicans, but I guess they have little voices there because they're not really being treated that way. They're being treated like progressive, liberal, you know, drones, like in Canada. So it's a shame. I heard Canada, you're not even allowed to report crimes anymore. Like if somebody steals your package off your front porch, the cops don't want you posting footage of that on the internet because it makes the criminals look bad. It infringes on their privacy to steal your stuff without any consequence. It's crazy. I mean, so Canada, Australia, those countries are fucked. But we're not much better here in the U.S., so it's weird. I hear a lot of shit about the UK, about like them being strict there and not being having certain rights and stuff. But like, God, at least they can vape, for Christ's sake. All right, that'll do it. Until next time, guys. I'll see you.